Good evening. Welcome to Love Talk. Most of people's marriages, their first experiences with the opposite sex, maybe it's not their first experiences, but the experiences that they marry into with the opposite sex have a lot to do with unresolved issues with their mothers and fathers. So you will go through your life attempting to resolve some unresolved issue with your opposite sex caregiver, whoever raised you, in an attempt to become whole and complete as a human being. At Embrace Growth, we propose something entirely different. And what I'm proposing to you is that together, I will guide you through the questions that one needs to ask oneself in order to complete those issues from the past. Once you close the loop, once the circle is complete and that you have completed the lessons that you came to learn from that experience, from that parent, from that marriage, from that boyfriend or girlfriend. Once that lesson is completed, here's the thing. You expand, grow, and develop into a much more sophisticated neurological system that is able to handle that issue very easily at any time in the future. In fact, you never have to learn that lesson again. It's just like driving a car or riding a bicycle or swimming or walking. It may be difficult to do that at first, and you may make some mistakes and you may fall down and you may have all kinds of interruptions in your lessons. Any number of things could happen along the line. But once you learn those distinctions, they're part of you. Unless you had some kind of severe brain damage or damage to your legs or your other parts of your neurological system, you never have to learn to walk again. And there's a number of things that we learn, and all learning that lasts a lifetime, all learning like that is on a neurological and a subconscious level. I'm kind of using the words neurological and subconscious interchangeably because the subconscious mind isn't any particular location. Now, I know you have a frontal lobe and all that kind of stuff, and we could talk about brain science, but the subconscious mind includes body memory. You may think of a piano player who in the beginning, they practice the scales over and over and over and over, and they teach their fingers and their muscles where those sounds are on a keyboard. Once those are learned, they can read the music or look into their memory and memorize a piece of music, and their fingers know where it is. So there is, as a former dancer and as a martial artist, I can tell you with absolute certainty that there is such a thing called body memory. The body has a memory of its own and can remember things, and my evidence for that is that you have body memory if you drive a car or walk or know how to tie your shoes or any number of things that you know how to do. Once you've learned it, your body remembers it for you so that you can continue focusing on other things in the world, and your body will remember it. And the reason I'm speaking about body memory is that many of our negative memories, what we call bad feelings or negative emotions or feeling bad, if you look, there will always be a physical sensation that accompanies that. So think about it for a moment. If I ask you to stand or sit like a sad person, a person who is depressed, show me what it looks like in your physical body when you feel sad. Everybody watching the show would know how to do that. We'd say, well, the chest kind of slumps in and the head moves forward and the eyes maybe look down and the shoulders round over and there's sort of a heavy feeling in the chest or the stomach. Now, clear all that away. Take a big deep breath. I don't want to get you depressed watching the show, but you would immediately know, your body knows how to be when it feels sad, and it just does that by itself. And conversely, if you were to look up at above eye level, put a big smile on your face, put your shoulders back, fill your lungs up with air, and stand up straight with your back straight, you would have a hard time, if you were like this, to feel sad. Now you could do it, but you would have a difficult time maintaining the feeling of sadness. Your physical body does affect your emotions, and your emotions do affect your physical body. So there is a body memory. We remember what it feels like to feel happy, to feel joyous, to feel young, to feel very interested and excited, to be curious. All of those thoughts and feelings and emotions have physical sensations that accompany them, and those sensations are not stored somewhere in your brain, okay? They're stored throughout the body in the neurological system. It has been proven way beyond any shadow of a doubt that the cells in the body's cells have a cellular memory, that they know how to reproduce themselves, but they also are in communication with each other in a very intense and immediate way. So every time that you or I have a thought of happiness, a thought of sadness, winning and victory, defeat or disappointment. Anytime you have any of those thoughts or feelings, there are pathogens and neurotransmitters that flow throughout the body and communicate to the entire system all simultaneously. When you have a sad thought, every cell in your body has a sad thought signal that is sent to it. Every time you have a joyous thought or a powerful thought, those kind of thoughts equally send electronic signals throughout your entire neurological system, and it responds immediately. So that kind of brings up the question, where does sadness live? Where does disappointment live? And where does happiness live? I don't think that negative experiences from the past cause negative feelings. A lot of people think, well, that's pretty radical, but think about it. And I have negative experiences in the past. You don't have any access to negative experiences in the past. The only reason that you have any access to any negative experience in the past or positive experience in the past, the negative emotions, negative memories from the past feel bad because we think of them, dwell upon them, and then send signals to our neurological system that bathe those neurons in negative emotion feelings so that your whole body begins to feel bad and begins to take the shape, like we did earlier, of a bad feeling. By completing our past, by going back in using hypnotherapy or traditional therapy to go back into an experience from the past, to learn what there is to learn from that experience, is we think that any experience that you have, we believe that any experience that you have, that you or I have, is meant for our growth and development, and that by rejecting it, covering up, taking a medication for it, talking ourselves out of it, blaming someone else for it, justifying it, feeling ashamed of it, all of those responses to the experiences in our life will cause zero growth. In fact, they will cause a degeneration in the cells. By blaming, shaming, guilting, avoiding, medicating the bad feelings or the bad experiences in our life, all we do is reinforce a point of view of being a victim. And ultimately, we diminish ourselves, because when you're a victim, how does a victim stand? How does a victim breathe? How does their heart beat? How does their food digest? How well does a victim sleep at night? How well is a victim when they go into a relationship and make love to someone? Really, if you think about it, when you meet somebody for the first time, hi, I'm a victim of the circumstances of my past, poor me, horrible things have happened to me in my past. Would you like to have a relationship? I'll never tell you about these bad experiences, of course. I'll keep them to myself and ultimately I'll end up blaming you for them. And that's what we do. Then we wonder why our marriages don't turn out, or why our relationships don't turn out, or why we don't have sex anymore with the people that we love, or why we end up not even talking to the people that we love, and they don't even want to be around us anymore. I propose to you that we get the past complete, and the best time to get any negative experience complete is right now in the present. And if you think about it, that's the only time we have is right now. You've only got right now, right now, right now, right now. Everything that you're experiencing right now is the future from 5 minutes ago, 1 second ago, 10 years ago. It's the future. Our access to the past, you don't have an access to the past. You and I do not have access to the past. It's gone. There it went again. It's gone already. So by dwelling upon the past, the only thing that keeps the past around is because we keep talking about it, we keep thinking about it, we keep worrying about it, we keep blaming people for it, we keep feeling guilty about it, we keep telling people the stories of the past and the poor thing that happened to us. So the past otherwise couldn't even stick around. because the essence of time is that it's constantly moving. It's moving away. It's moving away. Resentments about past experiences are resentments from the French word ressentir, means to smell again or to feel again something from the past. To ressentir, the word to re-present, to bring into the present moment again something from the past. And how do you do that? You think about it, you dream about it, you talk about it, you share about it, you keep pictures of the people around, you write letters that you never sent, you keep them in a drawer in some box someplace, you keep objects from people that have hurt you around, you keep the past around. In ancient times when people were like in survival mode for the most part, they spent a lot of time indoors and in the darkness during wintertime, just surviving the winter, surviving the cold. The time of spring meant, there's more light, there's more warmth, the plants are going to regenerate, we'll move back out into the light. And the nights got shorter and the days got longer, and it was time to clean out the cave or the dwelling of some kind and bring in new, fresh smells and fresh sights and fresh air into their dwelling. And so I invite you that during this time in your life, clear out and to let go of and to complete all of those old things from the past so that you do not re-smell or ressentir, resent the things from the past, and you send a brand new signal, a brand new arrival, a brand new possibility, a brand new future into your life. So the phone lines have lit up, and I'm going to go ahead and take the calls.
Hi, I have a question. There are some things in my life that I don't like. Major is taking care of the paperwork, bills, and this kind of things. I postpone it, I have to pay penalty, and sometimes I say that even like half an hour if I do this kind of things, I give myself reward, but it's not working. I don't know, it comes from my childhood. However, I'm not an organized person, but I don't lose mainly something. But right now, this is getting too much in my life. I thought that if you can help me.
Yeah. Do you have a computer and do you go online and things like that?
Yes.
Okay, great. I don't like doing all that stuff myself. And so what I've done for myself and what I advise you to do, I'm going to tell you what the end result, and then I'm going to tell you a few ways to get there, okay?
Yeah.
The end result is that my bills get paid online automatically. So they come in and I see them on a screen and I have them all set up so that basically a bill paying service that you can get through Wells Fargo. Any bank has them. All the banks have online bill paying services. And so you can see all of your bills, and as they come in, you just go over there, you click, you type in the amount. If it's a bill that's always the same amount every month, I just set it up to automatically every month on a specific date give it that amount of money. And if it's one that changes a few cents or something like that every month, then I have to type it in.
It was only one example. For example, I don't like to clean the house. Okay. I have someone who comes every month, and then that day is like a disaster for me.
Why?
I'm very, very stressed the day before, during the day, and then when she's very, very, actually, I love her like a sister because she's very helpful for me. And I change with other people, but she's the only person that I can deal with her.
So look. Okay, let's deal with one thing at a time. Okay.
Okay.
Because one of the reasons that you may be experiencing a lot of chaos in your life is that you don't complete one thought or even listen to the answer to one question before you start with another question and an explanation about that.
Okay.
So let's start with like getting you organized, okay?
Yeah. Well, another question is totally.
Well, no, you want to ask it. No. Hold on.
Okay.
Now you want to ask a third question when I just got through pointing out the fact that you asked one question. Before I answered it, you ask a second question, and when I pointed that out, you asked a third. Now you want to ask a third question. Do you understand?
Yeah.
What's going on about that? Now, don't answer me, because I already know. But you need to take a look.
Okay.
Now, all right? So you have chaos in your life, and you're not even able to complete a thought before you start 3 other thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay? Haven't you never noticed that before? Or have you ever had anyone that was impolite enough to interrupt you and say, wait a minute?
I have a lot of responsibility in my
Well, so do
life.
I.
That is the reason, actually.
Okay, no. See, you're doing that now.
Uh,
Okay, but now you're doing that. Now you're explaining that. So, see, I thought you wanted some pointers about how to get your bills paid and get your house taken care of, but really you want to talk about your responsibilities and your daughter and another question that you haven't asked yet. So really, I'm going to ask you to ask me one question and listen to the answer, and then we'll see if we take any other questions from you. Okay? So
Okay.
do you have one question for me?
I have a daughter. She goes to private school. We are not very rich, but we are like just middle class. And then she doesn't like to have friends at the same level as we are. She's getting involved with very, very rich. She's a very good student, but the other parents, they love her also. But I don't like this attitude that if she goes always for rich people. Is there any problem with this?
Yeah,
or-
it's your problem, not hers. Yeah, you're the one that has the problem, not her.
Oh, okay.
You want to hold her back. You should be letting her be friends with whoever she wants to be friends with.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, I hope that helped.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, this is Gregory, and you are live on the air.
Hi, I'm calling from Calgary, Canada.
Thank you.
I'm just asking a question because I'm concerning about my husband's health.
Okay?
Like he's having high blood pressure,
Okay.
and we have done all the physical tests and everything, and all the tests were okay, ultrasound and everything. So what I thought that he's having kind of like if he doesn't like something or he won't make people upset or anything, but he takes everything inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason that it's really hard to take him out from that situation.
Yeah, sometimes people develop symptoms that are medical symptoms. First of all, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to advise you about blood pressure one way or the other, okay? But I am somebody who is an advanced neurological repatterner, okay? And what that means is that everything in your husband's system and in your system and in my system has to do with neurons firing in our brain in a specific order. Often, things like high blood pressure or physical symptoms like that will show up as a symptom, not the cause, but a symptom of another internal conflict. So, for example, it's been pretty much widely proven that people who suppress anger often will develop cancer. People who suppress anxiety, for example, or are upset, it would be kind of a normal outcome for them for their heart to beat faster, yes? Now, he may have cholesterol in his veins and all kinds of other stuff that I would have no way of knowing or telling you about.
Everything they have done, everything is okay. Nothing wrong with physics. Everything was okay. Now, I don't know how to help him out.
Well, is his high blood pressure holding him back in any way? Is it keeping him from doing anything that he wants to do?
He makes it very upset, and he has kind of tightness of chest and stuff like make me worried, and I don't know. Like
without actually speaking with him and asking him a ton of questions that I wouldn't be able to do right here on television anyhow, I wouldn't be able to actually give you an answer to that question other than the one I have, and that is to take a look at his internal state, and I would be happy to have a private interview with him offline. If you want to call and set up something on my office, I would be happy to speak with him, and if I can't help him, then I won't charge him. And I believe that I can help him if it is a stress-related upset that he's dealing with, then I'm very good at clearing that.
Okay. I think so. That's a good idea.
If it's a physical thing, like, and you've said that he's been to all the medical doctors and they've said nothing's wrong with him, then you're probably right to call someone like myself that deals in internal states that cause physical manifestations on the outside.
Oh, okay. That's
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, thank you for waiting. You're live on the air.
My question is concerning a good friend of mine. He's a married man. I believe he's been married at the age of 23.
Okay. How old is he now?
Right now. He has a teenage child.
Wait,
and
how old is he now?
He's been talking to me that over, I believe it's about a year, that he feels that He no longer attracted to his wife, even though it's a good, she is a good wife. But then I don't know if, he feels like he should leave the family, but then he has so much guilt about doing this. But then I'm really worried about his own health. He's getting depressed. And I don't understand, is there something about men at this age? Because the same thing happened to a cousin of mine, that her husband left her for the same excuse that he married too early and he never had a...
Well, it is very common. Did you say that he was 41?
Right now he is 41. He was 23 when he got married.
So is your relationship with him purely friendship?
Yes, just business and...
There's no romantic interest between the two of you?
No.
It is very common for men in their 40s, particularly, usually it's in the mid-40s to 50s, early 50s, that men go through a cycle that everybody calls, midlife crisis. It's not because so much that it's a crisis for him, which it is, but it's mainly a crisis for everybody else in the family as well, isn't it? What happens is that men do get married too early. A 23-year-old woman is like a 32-year-old. Right? And a 23-year-old man is like a 18-year-old, mentally and emotionally. I know that the men don't like to hear that, but it's just a fact. It's just that women develop and are prepared for adulthood at a much earlier age than men are, and that's widely known. And so the women of their age group, when they're in their early 20s, are ready to be married and to be mothers. They could be. That doesn't mean they're emotionally or mentally adult yet, but they're certainly physically capable of marrying and having children, yes?
Yes.
And in your society and in the Iranian culture, it is very common for there to be a great deal of peer pressure for people to get married at that age, particularly 20 years ago.
Yes.
Right? So now we're seeing the fallout of that 20 or 30 years later, because these people have now, raised some kids together. And now that those children are reaching an age where they might leave home and these people are still young and could enjoy the best years of their life, they've had it with each other. They've just, all the love is gone, the sexual attraction is gone, and the years of grueling hard work to support a family and to build a business and whatever else that they've had to go through, any health issues and educational issues and adapting to a new culture issues that they've had to deal with that would already be difficult for anyone, has taken their toll. It is common now for men of that age to go, okay, I've had it. I can't face another day with this job I've been doing that I never really wanted in the first place, with this woman who I probably haven't had a decent sexual relationship with in years. And even though she may be a great woman, doesn't mean it's not even a bad reflection on the woman. It's what happens when people begin to shut down, stop communicating, and lose their intimacy with each other. Then the sexual attraction just goes away. So your question, though, was, can this be healed? And the answer is yes.
Well, the last time, I think was 6 months ago, that he said that he wants to wait until his child graduates from high school. But then now he feels worse, and he doesn't want to cheat on his wife, but then on the other hand, he doesn't want to stay there anymore.
Yeah, and
it's going to be fair if he just leaves the family, and is he going to feel better if he does that?
No.
He tried that?
No, he's not. He's not going to feel better, because here's the thing. If he's raised these children, I always assume the highest possible thing whenever I can. And I'm going to assume that if he's stayed in this marriage for 20 years or approximately, and he's raised these kids and he's worked hard, that, he's put his life's blood into this, and that if he hasn't cheated on her already, that he must be what I would call an honorable man.
Yes.
Yeah, a man who, an honorable man by my distinctions is someone who puts aside his own personal concerns, has emotional self-control and self-restraint, who does the right thing even though it may be the difficult choice to do. That's what builds honor in a man. That's when a man follows his duty rather than his emotions, or his sexual impulses, then I call that an honorable man. for the most part, okay?
Okay.
I say for the most part because you could do all those things and still be like a criminal selling drugs down the street, you know? So for the most part, men that are honorable do those things in order to raise a family. So nothing would hurt him more than to break his own honor. I'll say that again. Nothing would hurt him more than if he were to break his own sense of honor and self-respect. Because something happens for a man when he does that. He becomes a man for whom he doesn't even respect. He loses his own self-respect.
So if he leaves that marriage, then he would lose his own self-respect?
In some way, yes, he would. Because he knows he would have broken his word. Somewhere, I don't care how old he was a conscious, awake, alive, and alert human being that said, I will stay with you for the rest of my life to this woman.
But then he's not happy.
Well, who cares? I know that sounds harsh, but the truth of the matter is, he gave his word.
Yeah.
He gave his word. He's either going to keep his word, in which he will ultimately have some kind of access to some kind of personal happiness and self-fulfillment, and work on what needs to be worked on in the marriage. See, he's coming from it, and you are too, okay?
He says there is no problem in the marriage.
Yeah, well, there is a problem in the marriage. The husband's thinking of leaving and cheating, okay? So you don't call that a problem?
No, he says that this is something personal. That's how he feels.
Okay, but he's thinking of that.
Between him and his wife.
Yeah, he's thinking of that, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, a happily married man doesn't think about that stuff.
No.
So how could you, in all consciousness, say there's no problem with the marriage? That's a severe problem.
But you as a man, I don't know, is this normal that a man, even though he has a happy family, but still wants to be with other women or...
Yes,
normal?
Absolutely. Listen, men get married, they don't go blind.
Okay.
All right? Have you seen how women walk around these days? You know, any normal man is going to be sexually stimulated and attracted to the women that how women dress and act and behave these days. It's designed to be sexually provocative, isn't it?
Okay.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. All the gear and equipment that is sold to women to attract men sexually. Let's not pretend that it's not normal for a man to be sexually attracted to just about every attractive woman he sees. That's just normal. And being married requires a specific set of talents that men don't necessarily come with. They have to learn it and practice it. So being married and being a father requires a certain set of skills. Staying in a monogamous relationship requires a set of skills that no 23-year-old is ever going to have. You know, I don't even care if they take my workshops at the age of 18. By the time they're 23, they still won't have those skills. But they'll have a better chance at developing those skills and having a happy relationship. So we're kind of dancing around the bush here a little bit because right now he doesn't have those skills and he's experiencing what he's experiencing. And what he is experiencing is rather normal at this age, and particularly in a culture where people are pressured into marrying before it's time to be married, okay, before they had a chance to experience. See, I don't think men should get married before they have completed a certain cycle in their life that men go through where they want to sleep with as many women as possible. I think that's normal. As soon as you're like, 15, you want that. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I don't think anybody would be shocked by
talk about this before.
That information, right?
Damage is already done here.
Yeah. So
and now we have to.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's normal for boys.
So he wants to go back to 20 years ago, and
yeah. Well, it's too late because he gave his word, and it's not about his life. Is not about him anymore. He gave up the right to have his life be about his happiness when he had children and got married. Now, that sounds like a death sentence to a lot of people, but it's not. Now, happiness and fulfillment for him must come through honoring his word and finding a way to be intimate and loving and close with the woman who's the mother of his children. Unless there's some, you yourself said she's a great woman.
Well, that's what he says.
Well, okay.
The only problem is that he lost attraction to her.
Yeah.
But I told him this is normal. You've been living together for 20 years. I mean, what do you expect?
Yes, there is that. There's the been living together for 20 years part, but there is incomplete, unfinished business. So what people do is like they have an incident, they're married, it's time to take the kids to school now. So we put that in the back burner. We go about our day. We come home. We don't talk about it. We don't get it complete. We never even talk about it again. But this next thing happens again on Thursday, right? So then that happens again. And this time it's twice as hard because we have to suppress some kind of anger, some kind of disappointment, some kind of sadness, and some kind of resentment. But we can't talk about it right now because we got to go to work and we got to get things done, right?
Yeah.
And isn't that how it goes? And we got to go pick up this and we got to get the kids to school. And then next Tuesday we got to go do this. And those things accumulate like garbage and they start to smell. And people live on top of that like a big trash heap shoved back into the corners and the closets and up inside the drawers and down in the glove compartment and everywhere else in their lives until pretty soon they look at their life and they go, I hate it around here. And they look at the person that they have all of this incomplete, undelivered communications, break in realities. When you stop communicating with somebody, you start living in a separate reality. How human beings share reality is by communicating. And most of that communication is nonverbal. In fact, 58% of all communication is nonverbal. It's physical. And about 27% of communication is the tonality. In other words, the way in which you say something. Close the door, please. Close the door, please. Close the door, please. Close the door, please. Right? I said the same words, different tonalities, different meanings, yes? Some of them could even be, close the door, please. Right? You could say the same words and they could be sexy, loving, angry, hurtful. People stop communicating because they can't control their communication such that it is loving and things complete. So one of the things that I teach, is how to fight fair. In other words, if you're going to be in a relationship, you're going to have fights, you're going to have arguments, you're going to have disagreements, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, it's normal. And those disagreements actually could be opportunities to grow and develop and learn something about yourself and become a better person, a more sophisticated person, a more refined person, a more loving person, a more generous person. But that's not what we do, is it? With our lack of training and development in communication and our inability to deal with our own feelings and emotions, what we do is we stuff it down inside and then we keep trying the same things over and over again and getting the same result, which is a good definition of insanity. Trying something over and over again, the same way over and over again, and hoping that it'll turn out different the next time. That's nuts. That's totally insanity. We reach a point at which we stop talking and we break off the communication. So when you break communication with someone, another word for that is breaking rapport, R-A-P-P-O-R-T. You're no longer in rapport with someone, which means you're no longer in a dance with them, no longer in a, so they start living in their reality and you start living in yours. And the only communications are functional, like don't forget to pick up the milk or something, right? But the things that make us human, the things that endear us to each other, the things that cause us to have a spontaneous feeling of affinity is what I mean, affinity or affection, connection, and sexual attraction, those things get dropped out. Like, forget about that. We're not even talking about that anymore. It's just like, don't forget to pick up the kids and this, that, and the other, and did you pay the bills and so forth, right?
Right.
Yeah, those kind of things are such a turnoff. It's where love goes to die. If you want to kill off love, stop talking to the one you love about how you really feel and start only talking about the things that have to get done. Stop touching, stop sharing gifts, stop saying the sweet little things that make them feel wonderful, beautiful, sexy, powerful, appreciated, and I guarantee you will kill off that love. It's like pouring battery acid on a flower. You might as well, bury it, because you will kill it off. Here's the thing, in the case of your friend, and I'm saying this for the benefit of the thousands of people that are watching this show right now that are in exactly the same situation.
Thank you.
Okay?
Do you think he should go to his doctor and maybe have some stuff checked, maybe the hormone levels? I don't know, are the hormone levels in that age for men?
Yeah, the hormones begin to change, yes. Men begin to produce less testosterone and more estrogen. Women begin to produce less estrogen and more testosterone. So basically, he's becoming more feminine every day, and she's becoming more masculine, which accounts also for a sort of natural banging together of heads, because you've got two testosterone leaders in the house.
Yes.
A mother, ladies, is a masculine essence, because mothers provide and protect, and that's what men do. Men provide and protect, but mothers provide and protect. A woman is being a mother. She can also be rather masculine, and sometimes it can be a turnoff for the men, because they will then confront the man in the house, which will repulse him sexually. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Men are attracted to femininity. Masculine men want feminine women. That's why masculine men go after younger women later on in life, because now that he's 41, all the little 20-year-olds think he's sexy.
Yeah.
You know, the 20-somethings and the 30-somethings find him quite attractive, whereas his wife, who may be in her 40s, is kind of tired of seeing him. You know, or she may be mad at him, or she may be withholding sexuality from him because they don't get along anymore. So I can help him to find a way to communicate, and I can help them as a couple. They need to readjust. People think that just because they've been married for a long time and they've tried everything that they knew and it didn't work, that, well, okay, lesson over, let's get out of here. The lesson's not over. It's just beginning. For most people, how to live a powerful life doesn't begin until you're 40. And if you begin that with a divorce, well, you know, that's about the least efficient thing that you could possibly do. You know, we're talking about half your real estate and your bank account and everything else versus a few $100s in therapy. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good investment.
Definitely. You're right.
It's like not very economically sound, if for no other reason.
Correct.
You know, I'd rather spend $5,000 on therapy, and believe me, it won't cost that much. But, you know, even if it did, it would be worth not having to split up your belongings and your household and all the money it's going to cost you to maintain two households and to ship the kids back and forth. Never mind the therapy it's going to cost them about 10 years from now.
Yes.
You know?
Beautiful.
Okay.
Called you up. Thank you so much, Mr. Morgan.
All right. Thank you for your call. Thank you for watching the show. It's been my pleasure and my honor to be here with you today. And I will be back here again next week on Love Talk.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان. ایروان ارمنستان 15 تا 17 آگوست، تورنتو 20 تا 22 سپتامبر، همبورگ 18 تا 20 اکتبر و لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 مارچ. برای اطلاعات بیشتر با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت همکنون در اپ استور. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید پروفایل خود را مدیریت و زبان مورد نظر خود را بین فارسی و انگلیسی انتخاب کنید. وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. محصولات از جمله CD، DVD و کتاب‌ها را خریداری و دانلود نمایید و یا برای کارگاه‌ها و سمینارها نام‌نویسی کنید. همچنین شما می توانید به برنامه‌های تلویزیونی و رادیویی دکتر سایان و یا آقای مورگن به صورت رایگان دسترسی داشته باشید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید. سمینار جذاب از بیار بودن تا دلدادگی توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان.
اگر ازدواج کردید و رابطه اونجوری که دلتون میخواد گرم و صمیمی و پر از عشق نیست، اگر در قسمتی از رابطتون هستین که فکر میکنید میخواید اقدام به جدایی بکنید، نکنید، بیاید این سمینار، بعداً چیزایی رو که تو این سمینار میشنوید برید و در رابطتون پیاده بکنید، بعداً تصمیم جدی بگیرید. در هر مقطعی که هستید واقعاً بهتون توصیه میکنم که این سمینار خاص رو از دست ندید. به جرئت میتونم بگم بهترین سمیناریه که خودم تا حالا روش کار کردم.
با این سمینار متفاوت مخصوص مجردین و متأهلین دوباره عاشق شوید. تورنتو 9 جولای، روتردام 4 اکتبر و استکهلم 6 اکتبر. 310 460 2600 embracegrowth.com. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی امبریس گروت بپیوندید. در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان خود واقعیتان و همچنین مردان را بشناسید و با استفاده از قدرت زنانه خود روابطی سالم و عاشقانه بسازید. لس آنجلس 13 تا 15 سپتامبر، ایروان ارمنستان 31 اکتبر تا 2 نوامبر، تورنتو 15 تا 17 نوامبر، همبورگ 28 فوریه تا اول مارچ. برای اطلاعات بیشتر با شماره 310 460 2600 تماس بگیرید.